Hi everyone, and welcome to Let's Get Devoted. I'm so excited to be finally starting this. I'm a little nervous too, to be honest, because I've had this idea in mind for a very long time, and I'm finally starting to just put it together. This podcast is going to be built on a few things. It's going to be a lot about consistency and motivation and basically getting up whenever you don't feel like getting up. And this all traces back to the word you probably know as discipline. Discipline is basically doing what you say even if you don't want to do it because you said you were going to do it. It's making a promise to yourself, getting up every day, doing what you said you were going to do or that you know you should do, and it's probably the right thing for you to do. This concept is usually under a lot of pressure, whether it's somebody else or themselves, and honestly, as a type A person myself, I feel this a lot. And this podcast is basically just not to feel so much pressure. People call it soft discipline is what they call it. It's basically when, even on the days where you feel like so tired and you're just so overwhelmed and you don't want to do anything, to still get up and do something, but not under over like pressure. It's more about just doing it because you know you're supposed to do it for yourself and your well-being. I came across this video one time and it was talking about how devotion is actually a really good replacer for discipline, because discipline sometimes feels like what other people are telling us to do, and we just feel like we have to live up to certain expectations because we're disciplined and we have to get better. And I still love that concept, but I also think, just for myself, being devoted, like, let's get devoted, you know? People hear about devoted through like devotionals. Like, if you're in the faith, you know that when people are studying God's word, it's through a devotional. Devotion, we only think of like faith-based stuff, but I also think you can apply it to anything in your life. Whether it's, for me, it's running. Running is my big passion, and this podcast is also, I'm gonna have a few episodes where I talk primarily about running and like how it's helped me, because people have different outlets, how they get their passion out. Running has always been like my biggest passion for some reason. Like, I remember the first day I started running, like, it was that feeling where I'm like, I know this is for me. It was really hard because some days you wake up and you really don't want to do it. And it's not because you don't like to do it, it's kind of just because you just don't have the motivation. This podcast is a lot about how we don't always need motivation. What we need is devotion. So yeah, this is what it's going to be about. We're going to be devoted in our faith and exercise and health and just life in general. It can even be like relationships, it can be friendships, it can be yourself. Like, be devoted to yourself, show up for yourself. Yeah, that's what this podcast is going to be primarily based on. And if you think you're going to like it, I hope you'll stay. I hope you'll like and subscribe right now, because you're going to want to be seeing more of this, I promise you. Another thing I want to add on to this podcast is it's not going to be this, here's your lifestyle routine, this is everything you have to do. Like, I am going to have videos where I talk about that because a lot of people do need structure. I'm one of those people. I really want to help myself grow, and I think putting myself out there in a community, I think that's going to help me grow the most. But I'm going to give y'all some of my tips that have helped me, because the past few years I've definitely gained knowledge of what structure I need to build around my life. This podcast is it's not going to be wake up at 5 a.m., go to sleep at 8 a.m. Like, you're not going to go to sleep at 8 a.m. Some people are night owls, some people they love to get up early anyway. It's more about like what's good for you, but finding that rhythm so you're just doing it consistently. And it's actually way more healthy for your mental health than you think it is. But yeah, that's what this podcast is really going to be built on. Devotion over motivation, and doing what is needed for you to do rather than what you just like want to do. A lot of this podcast, there's going to be like different sections in it. Again, like, I'm a runner, so I'm going to have a lot of different episodes on running and just like what that has done for me in my life. When I watched this other video one time and it was talking about your passion and how you need to turn it for a purpose, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know my passion. How the heck do I turn that into a purpose? I just like to run outside. And I realized though, like, there is so many things that come with running. There's so many benefits that come with it, just like any exercise. But if you're a runner on this podcast, please stay, because I love running. I'm not gonna lie about it. I literally do it because I love it. I mean, obviously it is to stay in shape. I love the benefits that come with that, but there are so many things in running, like mentally and physically, that you learn. So that's gonna be one of my big sections in this podcast. I might even do like a little mini series on it, hopefully, where it's just a lot of running and like just different runs and staying devoted in my runs, and like helping all of y'all out with staying devoted in y'all's runs, and just romanticizing your life a little bit with it, you know? Another part I really want to come up with, I would love to have like conversations with other people on this podcast. I've always I'm doing like a one woman show right now, but I would love to do it where I have like a guest or someone I'm like talking to here, just to give their experiences with this too. With social media, you're kind of following what everybody else is doing, but the truth is, like, for you to become your most confident, healthy, good-looking self, you kind of have to just like fall into the vibe you love, because it's gonna show. It's gonna show that you love yourself a certain way, not if you're pretending to be someone else. And I think that's a big part of being devoted, is just being devoted to your true self. And yeah, I also think that is true with your friends and your family, and like different people we can get advice from on here. I would love to do that. That would be a plan of mine. And then the third thing that I'm really trying to implement on this podcast, there's going to be a few episodes where I want to devote it just to God and teach what I've learned from God, because my testimony is kind of it's a pretty crazy testimony. I will be honest. It's not the craziest, I feel like, but it's pretty. I have a lot of stories and I have a lot of history, and I feel like God has got me through a lot, and I want to share that. Just different things that have really gotten me through like some of the hardest times, because I stayed devoted to Him. I am where I am today, and some of these podcast episodes are going to be primarily dedicated to just the Lord. Yeah, so if you're really like a Christian who also loves like hearing new content, I really would love if you stayed tuned for those podcast episodes, because those will definitely be some of my favorite. So you got running, relationships, and God. My three foundations to this podcast, and I hope y'all can tune in. I hope y'all can stay devoted. I think this is a podcast where you're not going to feel pressure, you're not going to feel the weight, because this is about growing you into who you need to be, not who everybody else wants you to be, but who you want to be, and hoping you make decisions for yourself to get out there and do what you love to do, regardless of what anybody else will say. Because you need to stay devoted to yourself, and you need to stay devoted to your beliefs. So let's get devoted together, and I hope y'all enjoy and follow me along for the ride.